Hey YouTube, my name is Alan Sanford. I go by CrashRC in the FPV community, and today we're going to build this quad on a budget.
I'll get the part that went over here.
Okay, we're almost done with this build series. In today's build series, we're going to get the camera put on here. It's like RunCam Hybrid Dual 4K HD FPV camera. It's got two different cameras. It's got an HD camera and it's got an FPV camera. And it's got this little board. It's a 20 by 20 is the only thing I don't like about it. I wish that they made a 30 by 30 version, but you'll see I've got it attached to the top of this plate right here, but I wind up mounting it different, and this is how I wind up doing it. I move the receiver out of the stack and put it on the back right here, and then I put the little SD card holder, the PCB board right there in the middle of the stack. You can see that little blue thing, and then the RunCam Hybrid PCB board is there, but there's the RunCam Hybrid. Now I also do this different. You see these little arms that I got, I put them over the aluminum standoffs, but what I wind up doing is I wind up turning them around and putting them on the back standoffs, and I put a little piece of sticky tape, and I don't even have a picture. I tried to find a picture, but what I've wound up doing, I should have just took a picture, but I didn't, whatever. I'll also wind up putting a zippy tie. But I found a little extra cable that I had, and I'm going to cut it to length right here. I need a little extra, just a little bit of extra, and so I cut it a little long. It took me forever to make some decisions in this part of the build, so you'll see me slice it up and edit it. But here I'm untwisting the cables, and I'm gonna get ready to solder these on. But it's just 3 wires. This camera is put in with 3 wires, and I had some problems with the HD video cutting out, and I contacted RunCam, and it turns out that when you upgrade, something to do with the SD card contents can actually cause problems with the upgrade. So what I wound up doing to solve that problem was that you have to clear the SD card off, put just the bin for the upgrade on there, and then you do your upgrade. Now, after you do your upgrade, you're going to clear the SD card off again, and then put the SD card back in there, and then the upgrade should take. Otherwise, you have some issues. I'm not sure it's a software issue. It's a glitch. It's a bug. I did some dialogue back and forth with them for a little while, and they were like, try doing different voltages and stuff, because it says it'll run on 5 volts, and I've noticed with mine, at least, on running it with 5 volts, before I power up the VTX. Now, this may be a problem with the VTX. I don't know, but there's some white line noise in my FPV feed. Now, it's not in the HD feed. It's just in the FPV feed. And you'll notice it in all my videos. But when I turn the VTX power, so I've got my VTX power on a switch so that it will power up to, it starts out in low power and then it powers up when I flip the switch. And I've got a pre-arm switch and an arm switch, and I've got it kind of pre-configured in there. Like, I can turn the VTX completely off because this flight controller has a way to control the 8-volt out for the VTX, and the 5-volt out from the VTX goes to the camera. And what I've noticed is in the FPV feed, it puts these little white lines, but when I power up to 1,000 watts and I start flying, all that noise goes away and it clears up, and it's a beautiful picture. RunCam told me the solution to that is probably to just run the 8-volt to the camera, to the little camera PC board, instead of powering it with 5-volt. But it doesn't bother me, because it's only when I first power up the FPV camera feed, when I first turn the motors on. But like I said, when the VTX power goes up to 1 watt and I start flying, it doesn't happen until I start flying. When I start flying, the noise goes away. So I'm not sure what that is. The ground seems to be good, but I think it's a problem with the VTX. I don't think it's a problem with the camera. I think 5 volts is enough. But if you're having a problem with yours, RunCam support says power it with 8-volt, 9-volt, 7-volt, 8-volt, 9-volt. A little bit more than 5-volt. 5-volt is just like, if that's all you got, that's all you got. But anyways, so I'm taking the extra little leads off the VTX right here, because like I said, I'm fixing to power this whole board off this VTX right here. And I kind of fidget with this, but you'll see. And here in a minute, I'm going to show you, I have some other problems I'll run into with this build. But you see I've got it taped to the top. That changes. Like I said, I've already showed you that. Put that into the stack. But right here, we're just going to put the ground to the VTX ground and the 5 volt to the VTX 5 volt. That's an AKK Infinite. So it's got a DVR, but I don't ever use the DVR. I wish that I got a different VTX now, because I don't ever use the DVR from this VTX. It's just, it doesn't have an auto on. There's no way to make it auto record. The RunCam Hybrid just starts recording when you turn it on. So having to push buttons and stuff, that's too much for me. I thought it wouldn't be when I first bought it, but it is. So here we go. We got it soldered in, and now I'm going to start discovering some issues with how I've got this PCB mounted. I'll put these screws on top and get it kind of put down. But right here, I'm going to slide this the camera over the standoffs, and like I said, I actually wound up mounting that different. But I'm going to show you how I put it on there initially, and I wound up with a lot of Jello, because it's too soft. It's basically it's a soft mount for the FPV camera, but I wound up putting a bracket on it, and I use these soft mounts, and I take some double-sided sticky tape and put up under a bracket, and I put the bracket to the bottom plate. So I got a bracket attached to the bottom plate, a piece of double-sided tape, and then these soft mounts that I've got right here that run into the front standoffs, I run those to the back standoffs. Now I'm trying to line up my camera angle right here. But I just wanted to show you how I initially did it. Like, you do things and then you change them later. That's just how the nature of this hobby is. You do something, you think it's a good idea, then you find out, oh, wait a minute, it's not such a great idea. But I went ahead and I tried to set up my FPV camera angle, and then this is what I wound up with. You can see the little bracket, double-sided tape at the bottom, and I actually have a piece of zippy tie that goes through that hole and around that bracket to hold it even firmer. But that's what the whole stack looks like. I think that last picture I think showed before I had the soft mount. Like I had taken the soft mounts off, and I tried mounting it a different way. So I tried mounting that camera 2 or 3 different ways. But the one with the sticky tape and a piece of zip tie around the bracket, that's how I wound up doing it. Now I'm going to plug all this up, and this is where I discover another issue with the SD card. Yeah, that standoff's in the way. I thought it wasn't in the way, but there was no amount of trying to get that SD card in there right here. It just doesn't happen. So what I wound up doing was the first couple of flights, I would take the top plate off. I'd take the SD card out. I'd get the stuff off. And I was like, man, this is just getting annoying. And that's when I started looking for a way to get the PCB for the RunCam Hybrid into the stack. But you see here me taking it back off. But I just wanted to show you, because we make mistakes and we go back later and fix them. And I wished I had recorded how I fixed them, but I didn't. But hey, look, I'm just leaving it all in there so you can see it. And I showed you the pictures of how I wound up doing the mount. I'm going to have a little practice footage coming up here at the end. A little test and tune. I think I've just about got the tune right. But I think we got one more video, and I think in that one more video, we're going to kind of clean some things up. We're going to add some tape. We're going to kind of get the VTX antenna in here. I may do one last video to show you what the final build looks like all the pieces together. It may not be, well, it'll be a video, and I'll show you everything. I'll kind of give you an idea of what it looks like as a finished product after all the tweaks. But enjoy the flight footage.
JHEMCU.